let's practice adding decimals using base 10 blocks. As you can see, I've got a problem already written up here. I've got 1 and 34 hundredths plus 5 tenths. So let's remember how we're going to represent it with base 10 blocks before we add them. Let's show 1 and 34 hundredths. I've got 1 flat out to show my 1 whole number. Now I'm moving on to the 3. So I'm going to need 3 longs to show my 3 tenths. And then I'm going to come over here and pick up 4 small cubes to show my 4 hundredths. So this set of base 10 blocks is 1 and 34 hundredths. Now let's add our 5 tenths to it. We've got 1, 2, I'm just going to duplicate, 3, 4, 5. There's an extra one in there. Let's delete it. So I've got 1 and 34 hundredths plus 5 tenths. So all I'm going to do is add them together. So I'm going to move over my little 4. Oh, that's only 3 hundredths. Let's put another one over there. I hope somebody caught that. Now I'm going to move over my 5 tenths. Just going to move them over here and put them back down with my 4 hundredths. So now let's see what number we have. I'm going to write in blue to show our answer. We've got 1 whole number still because we've got 1 flat. Let's count our tenths. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenths, and 1, 2, 3, 4 hundredths. And that's how you add using decimals with base 10 blocks. Let's do another problem. Let's say I've got the problem 2 and 76 hundredths plus 1 and 35 hundredths. So that's 2 and 76 hundredths plus 1 and 35 hundredths. Let's figure that out. I know I'm going to need 2 flats because my whole number is 2. And I've got 76 hundredths. So I'm going to take 7 tenths, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's make sure. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Beautiful. I need 6 little hundredths cubes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to put them in order. I like that they snap to each other. It helps keep my work nice and neat. So this shows us 2 because there's 2 flats, 7 tenths, and 6 hundredths. Let's move on and show our 1 and 35 hundredths. I need my 1 flat for my whole number 1. I need 3, not 4, 3 tenths to show my 3 tenths. And I'm going to need my 5 little hundredths cubes. So there are my 5 little hundredths cubes. Now all I have to do is add them together. So I'm going to go ahead and take my flat, put it over here. It doesn't matter what order they go in. And I am going to move those over so I can move my other hundredths cubes up next to them. Now that I've got my other hundredths cubes moved over, let's go ahead and organize everything, making it look nice and pretty. We want to make sure everything is put up. Uh-oh. It looks like I've got another hundredths cube that won't fit. That means I've got too many hundredths cubes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine these hundredths cubes using my combine button, and I'm going to turn them into another long and put my other hundredths cube up next to it. So let's start counting to see what our answer is. I've got 1, 2, 3 flats, so that tells me that my whole number is probably going to be 3, but let's count these longs. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Uh-oh, I can't have 3 and 11 tenths. That won't work. So I know that I've got to take 10 of my longs, I'm going to circle them, and turn them into 1 flat. So now I don't have 3 flats anymore. I have 4 flats. So I've got 4 is my whole number, and 1 tenth, and 1 hundredth. So I've got 4 and 11 hundredths as my answer. Let's do one more together. Let's clear the screen and do one more. Let's say I have 1 and and 79 hundredths plus 93 hundredths. This is going to be a lot of blocks. I hope you're ready for it. Let's start with our first one. 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoop, let's count how many that was. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 tenths. Now let's get our 9 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's count those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there we've got our 1 whole, 7 tenths, and 9 hundredths. Now let's add, I forgot to put my decimal point there, our 93 hundredths to it. So I don't need any more flats because there's nothing in the ones place, so I don't need any more flats. I do need 9 tenths. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flats, and I'm going to stack those all up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I need 3 little hundredths cubes because it takes 3 hundredths for this number. So I've got 1 and 79 hundredths plus 93 hundredths. Let's add them together. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and move over my hundredths cubes and move these tenths cubes over. Sorry, tenths, the longs over. So let's count how many longs we have because it sure looks like a lot. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I need to go ahead and circle 10 of them and turn them into another flat. Now I'll go ahead and put everything back. Uh-oh. We already have another problem. I have 10 of my hundredths cubes, and I still have 2 left. So I'm going to circle my 10 hundredths cubes, and I'm going to turn them into another long before I bring my 2 back over. Now let's count and see what we've got. 1, 2. So we've got 2 flats, so our whole number is 2. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths. So we've got 7 in our tenths place, and 1 2 hundredths cubes, so a 2 in our hundredths place. So the answer to 1 and 79 hundredths plus 93 hundredths is 2 and 72 hundredths. Now the next slide is going to have you work out 2 addition problems on your own before you go through them with me to see if you got the correct answer.